election. It was a very daunting task, I believe, for all the contenders, but eventually the curtains were raised and the delegates decided that they were going to go with the former Vice President of the Republic of Ghana. First of all, take us through how the campaigns were conducted.
First and foremost, good evening to you and your wonderful viewers. It's my pleasure to be here, my first time on your network, so it's really my pleasure. As you are aware, we went into the 2024 elections and we lost quite heavily. And when you are done with elections, win or lose, any serious party would do deep introspection. So if you have followed our story, right after the elections, we decided to set up a committee to delve into the circumstances that led to our collapse. And it was very important that we do that to unravel everything that went wrong, to give us a guide as to how to get back on track, because obviously we had gone off track. Even if we were to lose, we did not expect that this was going to be the monumental nature of it. So clearly we went off track and we needed proper scientific guiding back on track, and that's why we decided to form the Professor Michael Quay Committee to unravel the circumstances that led to the collapse of the New Patriotic Party. But of course, if you are politically savvy and you follow not just our politics but geopolitics as well, you would have noted that across the world there was a certain level of tsunami against incumbents. If you watch President Trump, which was the last election before we had ours in Ghana, they voted in November and we voted in December, you would have noted how President Trump's Republican Party destroyed the blue wall. States that really do not vote Republican, and gave the Democratic Party a thumping in their polls. Before then, the UK also held elections, and I was hearing a lot of things. So I decided the Conservatives were not doing very well in the polling. So I decided to go to UK and monitor and observe the election myself.
You did that?
I did that.
Okay.
Because I wanted to understand it at first hand. I went, and the Conservative story is not anything different from the Democratic Party that suffered defeat in America, and how the NPP also broke down in Ghana. Seats that we had never lost since 1990, maybe let's say 6, that we took part in the parliamentary elections. We lost them for the first time. I'm sure it was a big surprise to many that NPP lost a seat like Domi Kwabenya. We lost it. We lost Ibuakwa, Ekwapim South, Sekondi. These are seats that would hit you. Abule Kumanov. These are seats that will hit you, that the MPP have lost these seats. So it was important that we get into the nitty-gritties of it. And that's why the Michael Quay Committee went into it and gave us recommendations. And one of the most important recommendations they gave the party was to try and have an early presidential primaries to select a flag bearer for the party.
I see.
Because we noticed that right after the elections, fire, got stoked, between supporters of Honorable Kennedy Agyapong and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia 2 days after, the December elections. We had seen flyers of these two giants already, and the banter had ensued. We are product of adaptation, and political parties are also living organisms.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you must adapt. So if you see existential threats, danger, you must find ways of averting them. And therefore, what was going on, we thought that, hey, this is quite, an unusual happening in the party. So once the clamor is towards electing, a flag bearer, let's find a way to get this particular item in the reorganization done, so that we can have a very calm party to do proper reorganization. Because without that, it will be difficult to reorganize the party. If you're reorganizing and there's tension, banter, butchery of, your own selves, you will not achieve the results that you have set out to. So we thought that, this was the right way to go. When people had differences, initially people didn't get it, but be it as it may, today, people have brought us our stones that you were right in organizing an early primaries to ensure that we get a flag bearer. Now, we have the opportunity, and I'm sure everybody has commended the New Patriotic Party for organizing a very peaceful, fair, and transparent elections that all actors in the elections have accepted and pledged their support to the party and the eventual winner, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, that they will all work together to ensure that we get victory in 2028. Exactly what we were looking for, a very united party. No party can win without unity.
Yeah.
Look, a united minority would beat a divided majority.
So you're saying the party is united. I think
we are in the process.
Exactly.
I will not
we'll come to
myself.
that. We'll come to that. So the fear, which was expressed by the Okwe report, the activities of the party, if the election was not done early, would you say that fear was not present, particularly in the campaign? Because then you see people were attacking people were speaking ill of people, people were, you recall there was even, I think, the 7 sins of Dr. Bawumia, 7 sins of Brian the Champon, 10 sins, all of those things, right?
Yes.
It characterized the campaign.
Yes.
So the fear that you were trying to douse, for which reason the party thought, based on the Professor Okwe's report, that they needed to go for an early delegate conference, in my view, was more even pronounced in the campaigns. Don't you think so?
Well, it could, but if you follow the trajectory of the NPP and our 2023 presidential primaries,
yeah,
you would have noted that our primaries came a bit late.
Yeah.
And they are all results of constitutional injunctions.
Yes, I do recall.
Yes. When we are in power, the constitution of the party says that we should elect our flag bearer 12 months to the preceding election.
Yes.
And when we are out of power, not less than 24 months.
Yes.
So you should elect your flag bearer within 2 years to the preceding elections.
Yeah.
And so what we have done now is within the constitutional injunctions.
Okay.
But if you follow the last one we had in 2023, it was, we had it on the 4th of November, 2023.
Okay.
That's almost in 2024. And 2024 is a political year.
Yeah.
So by the time we were done with the primaries, there was little time to do reconciliation, put some things together and go out to campaign. So we're working against time. And you can feel it that some people were not too committed, because some people still felt you know, the pain of having lost the primaries back then, and, you know, giving their very best, you know, was not on the table. You know, there were people who were also peeved because of internal issues. All of these things, we couldn't get time to get back into our rank and file to deal with all these issues. The cry of Edidija, you know, apathy, and so on and so forth. These are the things that dealt a huge blow to the party. But these were huge items that we didn't have time to deal with. Because the candidate, everybody has to be on the field to campaign. If you spend too much time sitting around the table to discuss issues, why somebody didn't get a certain contract, and so on and so forth, and how to try to ameliorate it, by the time you finish such discussions, your opponent would have already done the damage in the market, that by the time you get there, there's nothing left for you. So we thought that, you know, let's go out and campaign and tell our story to the Ghanaian people. But be it as it may, what we have tried to cure now is to have enough time to do the reconciliation that the fallouts of primaries can generate. Also, those who are peeved, how we get time to reach out to them, you know, and reassure our own people who were embittered due to one action or the other, that we have learned our lessons, and that in the political construct we take some of these things along, and the harm has been done already. So let's all get back into our fold and make a forward movement, and that there's every assurance this will not repeat itself. And this is, you know, what we'll be able to do now, and get a very formidable united party behind Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as the leader. Okay.
Salam, you would agree that party political communication has two strands. One, that it can create, especially if it doesn't go well, it can create some internal inflammations.
Yes.
Or it will be a weapon in the hands of the opponent. And that is why I asked you the specific question of whether or not the Okwe's report, which put forward some fears, really, was addressed, because those fears were very pronounced in the campaign. So in that vein, I want us to just now zoom in into the campaign. And it's important because, you know, 10 cents of this person, 10 cents of that person, it is called message weaponization. So weaponization either internally for internal consumption or for external, you know, political benefit, right? So that's why I want us to look at it and see whether the bruises, you know, that were felt throughout the campaign will be healed, or that there's a strategy to deal with those issues which were raised by the opponents or the candidates, you know, during the campaign, which message obviously is in the hands of the other political parties.
Surreal. Absolutely surreal. We cannot run away from it. And no one would say that some of the rhetorics did not go overboard. Some did. But you will also know that every contest generates heat. Even though the message can be weaponizing to your opponent, now that we are done, we have to find a way of getting everybody back, you know, on the table. And in the course of the campaign, I kept making the clarion call that we tone down the rhetoric. Because, you see, whether you like it or not, the election would come and go. But its consequences, cause and effect, you have to deal with them.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I am sure I made a comment on, I think, a sister TV station or radio station. And I said, the election is on the 31st of January. How would you feel on the 1st of February when you wake up? The things you said, posted, or whatever, how would you feel? If you would feel happy about the things that you said, it's okay. But if you would not, then don't say them. Don't write them. Don't post them. I have been involved in internal primaries for some time, since 2007 at University of Ghana, Legon, when 17 stalwarts, ran against each other in the party, And all these years, I have taken part in party reorganization, flag bearer elections, and so on and so forth. I understood the principle that you must all work together post the elections.
Absolutely.
And you need to be careful in how you carry yourself in the process. There were guidelines by the Presidential Election Committee to regulate the conduct of candidates and their supporters, really. But of course, let me not pretend that the fire was just one way. I mean, there was fire and counterfire. And of course, some of them went really overboard. And I mean, there's no sugarcoating to address it than to get back and see how we rebrand the party in with some finesse, right? That is able to contain some of the excesses that have been spilled. And that's the only way we can deal with it.
The reorganization is a topic on this one, so I would allow you, a greater part of the time to deal with that. But I just wanted for now for us to look at the campaign, how you went about it, and whether you were able to hit the nerve center of the party.
Yes.
When you went round, the concerns raised by people. Of course, it's internal, but it's very significant because if you are not able to mobilize your own internal forces, you will not be able to now deal with the external forces, which is much bigger, and broader. So, I mean, based on the experiences you had, I'm sure you campaigned with His Excellency Dr. Baumia. You were in his camp, yes?
Well, I
really.
Wasn't,
okay.
On the campaign platform itself.
Okay. Yes. But you played a role or whatever. Okay, well, you don't want to talk about that, it's fine. But the point I'm trying to make, I guess, here is that the campaign, itself had the potency of helping with the subsequent reorganization of the party or not, depending on how the contestants went about it, right? So from where you sit, of course, you were not actively involved, but with your best eye view and with how the candidates conducted themselves, do you think that they were able to get to the party people really and truly in order that the reorganization will be a smooth ride?
Yes, they did. And one thing that excites me really is the campaign, the conduct of the campaign.
Okay.
All of them, really, 3 candidates
were more prominent,
able to touch all the 276 constituencies in the country.
Okay.
In the 16 regions.
Okay.
And that is significant because it generates enthusiasm in the grassroots.
Right.
And it is something that we needed to ensure that we keep the party alive. The party base must be active. So contest of this nature oils the grassroots. And I did follow the campaigns, what the candidates were saying to the delegates. And I was happy to hear them address key concerns of the grassroots, of party people. I was happy that there were admissions that, okay, maybe we got some things wrong. And that in the future, this is how to address them. So we admit to ourselves that 1 or 2 things didn't go right. And it is something the party people wanted to hear that indeed our concerns have been acknowledged by leadership. I've had calls to travel with His Excellency, the former Vice President, now our presidential candidate, on some thank you tour and even some of his engagements. And it is instructive that party people were unhappy because they felt that there was disconnect between them and government. And that this disconnect largely, created the situation where at the point they just didn't care because they don't have any personal attachment. But you have come to us. You are talking to us. You now understand our feeling. And of course, some of the things that they say, the solutions they put before them are practical. For example, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia tells them that, look, this Edidija problem, to solve them, I'll make sure that every constituency has some level of appointment. So that if you have about 10 people in a constituency and they are responsive to the needs and demands of the grassroots, so that sometimes someone is in need of maybe 500 cedis for maybe medical issue, wedding, the person's wedding, wants some small contribution, or maybe 500 to start some moko business.
Yeah, I encountered that a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Such people can readily provide the needed support and help to these people, and they appreciate it, so that we don't have a situation where there's always disconnect between the top and the down. Anytime there's such a disconnect, I can bet you the political system would collapse. And I can see our opponents already in the NDC, they are beginning to feel it. And now, the last time, I think last week thereabout or so, I saw a news card by National Chairman Asiedun Ketia, and I posted it, on my timeline, where he was begging the grassroots not to be frustrated and they should tone down on the whining and so on and so forth. And I came and I wrote that, Chairman, unfortunately, you people are speeding so fast into opposition.
Yeah.
Your whinings have started way too early. At least it took over 2 years before our people
you
started to grumble, but now yours, within your first year, your people have started, throwing the towel in the air already. That's the first sign of danger. Immediately the grassroots go off. You are also off. And that it was important the campaigns address the grassroots directly. And for a party to suffer the humongous defeat that we saw, you need something extraordinary to start a spark at your grassroots. And that's what these campaigns were able to do. Some of them that I saw, some of these campaigns that I saw from the sidelines following, the campaign, when they are done with the meeting and you ask them, like Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is done and he leaves, and you interact with polling station, constituency, and sometimes even ordinary party people, they tell you, oh, wakasa ye na yentinyama bebre ase, but she said that's exactly what we needed. The belief, the reconnection, and the spark. That's what holds the political party together. If there's no energy, if there's no belief, I'm telling you, it will collapse. The parties that have collapsed are a result of lack of belief in the systems, in the party. So the people will just drift away. But for our people to show that belief in us, in the leadership, and say that, oh, wakasa ye, yebe juma, means that we are coming, back on track.
How should the delegates now and the grassroots now trust the words of the political elites of your party? Because we know that defeat creates humility. Now you don't have power. So you are going back to the people who gave you the power to try and convince them again that when you get the power again, now you take care of them. And I think that it's been a perennial issue where there's a huge disconnect between, so the leaders always sit in ivory towers and then they look down on people, the very people who gave them the opportunity to serve and the mandate to come and govern, so that you will be able to further enhance their aspirations, right? So would anybody be far from right when they say that because of this humiliating defeat, you've gone back to the people seeking for their support and their vote. But when you win, the assurance that you are going to be there for them may not entirely be there.
So among the 5 people who ran, I have a personal relationship with one of them.
Okay.
This is open to the world.
Okay.
It's known.
Okay.
My relationship with the former vice president,
Okay.
now flag bearer. I know that he's honest to a fault. And he honors his word. So to the extent that he has said, I will do this, he won't turn his back. That is the nature of the man. If he doesn't believe in something, he will not say it. So for him to say something, it means that he believes in it and he will do it. I've met intelligent people. I've met smart people. I'm here to meet and hardly forgets. And that's why, I don't think that some of these things would escape him, because he knows that I said this. There are times that you go to him, you want him to do something. He said, no, I said this here. I said this there. So let's do it this way. Then you would concede. So it is not just promises because we have lost an election or because we want to win an election. But it is also for you to touch the lives of your people. Everybody will get a reward. And I am sure that in the future, 2028, when we win in 2029, let's prioritize the needs of the grassroots. The polling station people, everybody, the party people who contribute to the building of the party and so on. Look, Kwame, it is a difficult work putting a party together, managing a party, let alone winning political power. Look, winning power is one of the most difficult endeavor you can ever embark on. Look, losing political power is the easiest thing you can do. Look, within a week, if you want to lose power, you can lose it. It's so easy. Also, it takes just a week. You can make errors that the Ghanaian people will so mad with you that they will go out and vote against you. But getting the power
It's difficult.
not an easy job at all. So we cannot work and get power and refuse to honor our word. That will not be our
It was so in the past. I mean, what assurances should the grassroots have that this time around things are going to be different? And I agree. I mean, people would say, oh, but it was Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, so you couldn't have really done much. But others would also say that Nana Akufo-Addo also doesn't forget, and he rewards. So the question would be, so much about
the systems.
Yes, that's what I was going to come
systems.
to, because you see, the vice president may have made a promise, but he needs to work through men. He needs to work through individuals. He needs to work through, some structures, right? The question then becomes, will the structures be able to support the vision in the event that he wins in, like you're saying, in 2029?
Yeah.
When then he has to fulfill the promise that he made to the grassroots, for instance. How would he be able to do that? How can the people be rest assured that this time around things are going to be different?
So, with the kind of campaign, say, Dr. Bawumia ran, the grassroots were surprised that he gets into a constituency and look, he can mention a polling station executive by name, mention the phone number, his age, and the details, and the people were surprised. Because we have taken our time to build a certain database of our people. So now, you like it or not, there's a certain reservoir of information, of data that you have of your people.
Yeah.
And you like it or not, the promises that you have made to them, you cannot say you will not fulfill it, because if you don't, the same people will take you out.
Yeah.
So in order that you are safe, they must also be safe. It's not as if Nana Danko Akufo-Addo did not, reward. He tried his best. But there wasn't a holistic system like we have today that captures almost everybody on board, that the leader himself has access to it. So now the leader himself sits on his phone and he can mention your polling station for you and tell you your position, your age and blah 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 blah, and post the primaries, and when we are done with 2028, and by the grace of God he gives us the mandate, we'll use the same data, and now reach out to them and see exactly what is their need and how to fulfill it. Those who want 500, 1,000 Ghana cedis to do any Meko business, you know how to reach them. And this particular campaign has been, exciting. How technology has also come into play, and how we are directly able to reach the grassroots. And I'm sure other parties will begin to follow suit. How we have been able to digitize our system and have direct interactions with our grassroots. And it's much an improvement of the past. And I'm sure that we will not agree, sit aloof and watch things done the way that they have in the past that have given us problems. If you do the same things, the same way all the time, you are going to get the same results. So for us to do something different, to get different results, we must go outside the box.
The only reason why Johnson Essiedu-Nketia, who is the chairman of the NDC, came out to sort of reassure the grassroots that they should not throw their hands in despair, and that all will be well, is because they were in the trenches with them for 8 years. They struggled with them for 8 years. They went to them seeking for support for 8 years. And after power was given to the NDC, it has become clear to a lot of the grassroots people that they are not going to get anything from the government. And so that is why I am still asking this question, regurgitating and rehashing, so that the grassroots who are watching you this evening will have the full assurances that in the event that you win the next election, you are going to be able to take care of them. Because you see, when people, and I've seen people who are so humble, who are very modest, win power, and all of a sudden you call them, they don't pick. They are in some ivory tower, they feel so pompous and big and all of that. And people complain because you don't even get access to them to go and complain. So that's why I'm asking all these questions. It's for the benefit of the grassroots. So you need to reassure them again and again and again.
And we will not stop, because now we are going to go into our own elections. The structural elections in the party. Polling station, executives, constituency, region, national. At every stage, you must have interactions with the grassroots. And they will keep reminding you. And we'll also make promises to them. And that you must fulfill those promises. Those of us who are executives already, you have people who are not too happy with you because they say that we voted for you already. You made promises to us. You're not able to fulfill them. True.
It's a major issue.
It's a major issue. One of my pains is that how I perceive things when I was outside the executive bracket and when I got in, there was a disconnect. But I tell myself, I became youth leader of the party at the twilight, stage of the government. 2022 July. At a point, the government of the NPP led by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had a year and 6 months to run its 8-year course. At that point, really, what could we have done? Basically, everything was done. So you find yourself struggling through it. But the grassroots will not easily understand that. That is why immediately we come into office, you must develop a system. So the difference between us and the NDC and the things that are beginning to unravel in the NDC that, chairman has gone to try to, hold together is how the two leaders, operate and their viewpoints. So John Dramani Mahama as president has done well appointing party people to positions. The party people are now crying that they call these same people and they don't get them. Okay? Why? Because there is no connection to the constituency. But we are saying that now appointments will be tied to the constituency. So if the constituency comes to make complaint of the appointee, we will take you out. Because if the constituency executives, polling station, they send a petition to the president, Your Excellency, Kwame is not taking care of us, but he's part of the 10 people you gave appointments to in our constituency, maybe Ladade Kotopong, to take care of us, and he's not doing so. Please change him and give us somebody who will listen. Between one person and say maybe 1,005 people, as far as the structure is concerned, anyone would go for the majority, the 1,005 people that save the one person who is the appointee. So our system will be quite clear that the constituency will be empowered with these appointments, and maybe, for the want of a better word, rather weaponized, so that if you are an appointee and you are not playing ball with your constituency people, and they will yes, when the issue come up, they will take you away. And I'm not sure the president would want to lose his support base on the ground in support of just one person. Sometimes it's not just too much. Just sacrifice a little bit of time, to listen to them, and it will make a world of difference. And this is what we'll be able to do. The president must crack the whip where need be. And I am sure that the promise Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is making, he means it. I know him. I keep saying, this is a man I can look into his eyes and I tell he's angry, he's happy, exactly how he's feeling. That's how much I know him. Because my relationship with him have been long standing. I started working with him around 2011, thereabout. So it's been a long relationship. So I know him. And when he means something, I know that he means it. And these days, he's been talking about it for a long time. Yeah, he's been wondering, how come we cannot do simple things? Why do we wait and there's anger, it boils over, and we are grappling with it? Why do we do so many innovative, stuff, and we cannot apply it to party? So these are conversations he's been having with some of us, that today he thinks that we can apply them. So he can now call, any police station person at any time, because he has the data of such people across the length and breadth of the country. And I know that the system we are going to use it's a human institution. We might not get it 100%, but margin of error shouldn't be more than 5%.
All right, margin of error shouldn't be more than 5%. We're still in the studios here with Salam Mustafa, who's the national youth organizer for the largest opposition political party, the MPP, and we have been talking about the primaries that elected His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. We have been talking about the campaigns itself and how it was done and what went into it, and pronouncements which were made, with pronouncement in the final analysis, defeated what was contained in some portions of the Professor Michael Quay report. But he has explained it quite well for us that there's a way they are going to be able to use that information for the benefit of the party, as opposed to it being a weapon in the hands of the opposition. That is so. Now let's look at after the election, and the conduct of before reorganization. Reorganization is our last topic, but the conduct of all the contestants, all the people who were actively involved, in the exercise, how they conducted themselves. I saw videos of Brian Achampong who called
Yes.
Dr. Baumia
Yes.
and called all the other contenders,
Yes.
congratulating all of them and congratulating themselves for having gone through the process without, any fallouts. So let's look at, the conduct of the 5 giants who contested this particular primary.
Yeah. The conduct of these giants have been nothing but admirable since Saturday, January 31st. If you watched, you would have noticed that Honorable Ken Akumpreko Ajapong came out to concede a bit early, through a press engagement, where he admitted that it's not going well, and that he, congratulates Dr. Mahmoud Baumia on his victory, and subsequently followed it with a call to Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. They did speak on phone. He didn't just stop with the press conference. He also showed up at the headquarters at the declaration of the results, where he spoke again and said the elections were free and fair, and he accepts the results, and he pledges his support to the party and Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. That was instructive. That was good. Then the rest also followed. Dr. Brian Achampong also called.
Oh, by the way, I met him today.
Oh, great.
I met him today. Yeah.
How's he faring?
He's doing very well. I met him today. We even took pictures.
He's a strong guy. Yeah, he's a strong guy. Yeah. You take it in your stead. He called Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, and the conversation was making making the rounds, and they had quite a hearty, chat, and that was good. He also showed up at the headquarters, and his speech was good. That look, we went into a contest with different ideas, but now we are done. So we pledge our support to Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. Everything, I can do to support, to ensure that we win the 2028 elections, I will do it. And that was refreshing to hear. And subsequently, I have seen Dr. Ejichum, same, he came to the headquarters. He went to, I think the following day, he went to the home of Dr. Mahmoud Baumia. Engineer Kwabna Japan also did same. He went home to have, an interaction with the man. There has been that camaraderie amongst them. And the picture it has created is one that has doused about 90% of the fire that was burning
even
in the
before
party.
the deliberate reorganization.
Yes, even before, this other reorganization would begin. Already, the tension in the party has come down. Now we know that we have a leader. All of us are looking up to him. Everybody has pledged. If you were a supporter of Kennedy Japan, and he has opened his mouth to say, I pledge to support you, you cannot say that you love Kennedy Japan more than himself, that we are gangaria, so you will not accept. It doesn't work like that. Today is somebody's day. Tomorrow can be yours. So when somebody wins, do all you can for the person, so that one day if it's yours, same favor can be extended to you. And I'm sure that these are colossus of the party. They look, they are dying in the wool. They've gone through, everything that, any typical party person can go through. If I tell you some of the places I have gone to sleep with Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, you won't believe it. We went to sleep in a certain place somewhere, Bushegu, that in the morning they had to put stones, on the floor for us to stand on and take a shower. In 2016, when we were looking for power, I saw him, in an accident where his car somersaulted 3 times. Yes. 3 times. Bang, bang, bang. We came out and we did so. We picked it up like a baby and kept it on the laps of his security team and took him we first went to Kumasi, Konfanoche, before bringing him to Accra. They've gone through it all. So these are not people that would leave the party on the way. Kennedy Japan has been through. In 2012, Kennedy Japan was arrested. That he made some comments that national security, picked him up, charged him with treason. I'm sure you remember the case. Look, I was one of the young people who were on the streets for Kennedy Japan, making noise, release Ken and so on and so forth. They've been through all of these things. Engineer Kwabna Japan will tell you stories of Kumi Prekun and so on and so forth. They've seen it. Everything in the party, they have. So the love they have for the party is genuine. And when they speak, I trust them. Because by their conduct and character, they have shown that they are true party people. Dr. Mahmoud Baumia would not, after such an accident, and after that particular accident, in fact, the 4 ties, burst at the same time. And that's what, got the car to flip. We saw how whitish the ties were, and everybody believed that the ties were tempered with. Were coming from the Upper West region. They had gone to Upper West and were coming. It happened somewhere in BA at the time. So there's no contest to it that he wants success. And I know him to be a workaholic. Anybody who works around him will tell you that he's a workaholic. When he starts, he doesn't stop. You can finish campaigning around 1 a.m. and 6 a.m. he's sitting and waiting for everybody. Yes. He's sitting and waiting for you. By the time you get to his door, he's already finished and he's waiting for you. So these are true party people that I have sincere admiration for, and we learn from them that we also develop the same passion and believe in the party like they have. And we also hope to pass it on to those coming after us. And that's what will ensure that the tradition continues.
I'm going for this very quick commercial break. When I come back, we are going to be talking about party reorganization and what they're going to do to ensure that they remain the strongest opposition party, and also find out his own views on the current NDC administration and what he thinks they are doing well, and the ones that they are not doing well. He's gonna tell us here on the show. Stay with us.
Ghana's Day of Shame is here again, and the Socialist Movement of Ghana will be marking it with a public forum on Tuesday, February 24th, 2026. The theme for the forum will be 60 years after Ghana's Day of Shame, Imperialism or the Rampage. The event will be chaired by Professor Ekuabrichim, a lecturer at the University of Cape Coast and a member of the Advisory Council of the SMG. The speakers are Comrade Doroba bin Wahab, a leader of the Black Panther Party of the United States of America, and Comrade Kwesi Pratt Jr., General Secretary of the SMG. It will take place at the headquarters of the Socialist Movement of Ghana on the George Walker Bush Highway, next door to the Noga Hill Hotel in Accra at 4:30 p.m. all comrades and the general public are cordially invited.
Break. My name is Kwame Usunanso Esquire, and we are in the studios with Salam Mustafa, who is the national youth organizer of the largest opposition party, the NPP. We've been talking the NPP primaries that elected His Excellency John Dramani Mahama to be the leader and flag bearer of the party. We've spoken extensively relative to the campaigns, relative to the Professor Michael Quay report, aspect of it which finds expression in the conduct of the elections. And now we're going to be talking about something that is dear to the rank and file of the NPP, the reorganization of the party. Salam already has said that based on the campaigns which were conducted by the five giants and based on the conduct of the five giants after the election, 90% of the reorganization, in his view, has been done. The 10% is most crucial. How are they going to be able to do that? Salam is here to respond to that. Salam, tell us about it.
So now we would have to go and do the structural elections. Polling station, electoral area coordinators, constituency officers, regional officers, then cap it with national officers. Then sometime in 2027, we'll be looking at a timetable for parliamentary. But the most important one before us is the reorganization as far as the structure is concerned. And I'm sure within the next few days, we would be out with our timetable to announce to the world how we intend to reorganize the party, and the base. But it is for a good purpose. Usually after elections, we do the reorganization.
Okay.
When you are done with elections, you have to shake the horse a little bit to ensure that parts that are weak, you are able to retrofit, and parts that need reinforcement, you do, to ensure that the machinery is grinding, fit for purpose. So it's why we do reorganization, to ensure that it is fit for purpose. After losing the 2024 elections and going through the Michael Quay, committee and almost all the factors that came against us, we have to breathe in a new, fresh of, air into the organization of the party. And that's why we have to open up, and, contest for people with ideas who can, help with party work, regardless, of your background. Once you are a true party person in good standing, show up and contest. And I am encouraging young people. Let me use this opportunity to encourage the young people in the party not to be discouraged. Do not fear. Show up, contest for positions, be part of the executive setup, because the electoral demographics have moved so much that young people are taking the affairs of the political system today, and the youth of the NPP would have to show a lot of grit and show up to contest for these positions. Sometimes I don't know whether it is out of fear or whatever the reason. But yeah, it is expensive too. But it shouldn't be the only factor that will push people away. I want to see ambitious young people in the NPP that, regardless of the challenge, they would take it on. And that's the only way we can build formidable people who one day would also lead the party. And it starts now. And that's why I think that everybody should take opportunity in the upcoming reorganization and show up, for positions that they feel they can contribute. That's how we can make sure that we are contributing to our return to power. You cannot have ideas and sit back home and you are just writing on social media alone. I think that the ground work is also important, and to that extent, I really encourage them to take it up and contest for the various positions. Now we are going to have more executives, because we are adding about 2 or 3 people onto our
the list of executives.
The list of executives. So hitherto we have 10 elected officers, then 7 appointed. So that makes it 17. But now we are adding 2 positions to the elected officers, and 1 appointed. So that makes it 3. So now we are going to be 20 executives.
Okay.
In all at constituency, region, and I'm sure it comes all the way to national. So it opens up the system, and a lot of people should show interest in running for these elections, and we will be building a very great party. The NPP, I've said time without number, is a party that thrives in crisis. We find a lot of strength anytime we find ourselves in crisis. Yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I was on a sister station. I was doing Kokroko, and I told Chairman General, and I think subsequently I've mentioned this so many times on radio and TV. In 2016, I went on an operation, and I was coming back, and I was listening to radio, and I heard a heavyweight of the party, a former minister under President Kufuor's government, taking on the NPP on radio and bashing the NPP heavily, lashing at our presidential candidate at the time, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, saying all sort of things. We cannot win the 2016 elections. I'm sure you remember, 2016. We had suspended our general secretary, chairman. We had suspended our chairman and first vice, Sami Crab, Paul Afoko, and Engineer Kwabena Japon. That's what kind of a party can win election without a general secretary, without a substantive national chairman. And this was in September of 2016. 3 months down the line, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo won with about 1 million votes difference, the biggest at the time, until the last elections. That's how the NPP has been.
We thrive in crisis.
We thrive in crisis. And even 1998, after the heated contest between Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and President Kufuor in Sunyani, people will tell you, I was quite young then. I didn't see that particular contest. The 2007 one that I saw, But 1998, they will tell you that the tension was as high as we saw in the last one between President Kufuor and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. That President Kufuor eventually emerged, and Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, everybody, came on board with all the issues surrounding. You remember President Kufuor's own brother-in-law contested him. And some of to the extent that they called him a rotten cassava, that a cassava that you have taken to the market, they didn't buy, he did not take the same cassava back to the market. And it became a huge matter in Ghana at the time. President Kufuor emerged as president. in the year 2000, taking on the NDC establishment at the time, that we had never won power, beating the whole Jerry Rawlings, NDC hegemony at the time. But we emerged. 2008, we lost. The rumpus that greeted the defeat, the same I saw last year, thereabout, the recriminations, the bashing, and so on and so forth. We were able to rebound. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo won in 2016 in the midst of doubt. And that's why I keep my faith in this party that, look, the time you write us out is the time we give you a surprise. Because we are products of crisis.
As part of the structural reorganization, I believe some current executives, some of them will move up, some of them will move to different.
Yes.
Where's my friend going?
Well, currently I lead the youth front of the party, the youth wing. It's one of the most difficult jobs you can take on in the political construct. It's so huge, it's so big that its handling is like going through the fire and back. You get baked and out. Because National Youth Organizer, you have 276 constituency youth wings to manage, 16 regional youth wings to manage. I have 255 TESCON institutions to manage across the country, 16 regions, 275, 76 constituencies. Then you have student blocks, NUGs, USAC, FUSAC, TTAC, NASAC, and so on and so forth. Then SRCs. All of them must align.
The presidents of the various SRCs.
Yes. Huge work. So when we're going to the 2024 elections, the president of the Student Representative Council president at the University of Ghana, the SRC president, was Guru.
Lagos.
At the University of Ghana, yes. The law school, for the first time, the NPP inclined person was the president.
Yeah.
KNUS.
Yeah, same.
Yes.
The lady, eh?
Yes. The only one we didn't have, I think, was
Ghana
UCC.
School of Law.
UCC.
Okay.
The UDS, we had them. And these things were intentional. They were intentional. We take time to work on them, to align. Then the NUC's president, Daniel, an NPP person.
Is it Jihad?
No.
Jihad
handed over to, I think, YB.
Okay.
YB to Dennis Labi.
Okay.
Yes, and
all right.
It's continued to the current. So it's a difficult job, and by the grace of God, I've been able to handle it for the last 3.5 years. I've been Deputy National Youth Organizer before. I've been a presidential staffer at the office of the Vice President, in charge of events, his operations. I've moved in and out, So when it comes to operations, I understand it. I've been a research assistant at Dankwa Institute.
Oh, I see.
I've been, a communicator for the party for a long time. I've done different things for the New Patriotic Party, spanning a period of 20 years and more.
That's right.
I think I am matured enough today to man the office of National Organizer.
Right.
So by the grace of God, when the nominations open, I won't just take a back seat and say that the party lost.
You'll be an active player in the restructuring.
I will remain an active player,
especially in the restructuring.
In the restructuring, contributing my mind, my ideas, my strength, my resources, everything to ensure that the NPP returns to power. I will not stop until we get back power.
I'll tell you one thing for free. I've engaged a lot of political communicators. Most of them are my friends. I think you're a very good communicator.
Oh, thank you.
And if your party is watching and they will listen, I think that you can do well for them. So that position that you're going, you have my full blessing.
I appreciate it.
You have my full blessing. And whatever I will also be able to do, my small corner, I will do to support.
Yeah,
I don't know you. This is the first time I'm seeing you.
Yes.
This is the very first time I'm seeing you. And I've been listening. That's why I've allowed you speak because every time I want to interject to ask another question, you find a way of answering that question before I ask it. So I just,
thank you. I appreciate it.
But I like the structural reorganization bit. And when you said it in the beginning, I didn't quite catch it. But now telling me that you want to now look at the various, if you like, departments of the party, I now understand what you mean by structural party reorganization. So you're looking at the structures.
You're looking at the structure of the party, and it's the base. We start from the base, the police station system, where currently we have 5 police station executives who man every police station in Ghana, the 40,000 of them. So 40,000 times 5, we are looking
200,000
about 200,000 party officers.
That's a lot.
Then we climb up to electoral area coordinators. Every electoral area is about 4 police stations put together, so we call it electoral area system. So we used to have a coordinator. So, but now we are adding 4 people to 8 to make, for them to become 5, and 2 people at the police station to make them 7. Then we will do constituency elections to elect new constituency, executives.
Okay.
Then we will come up to the region, because it is the constituencies put together, that will come and do the election of the regional executives.
Okay.
Then from the region, constituency plus region will come and now do national executives.
Yeah.
So these are the layers in the party: national, region, constituency. Then the constituency embodies the police stations and the electoral areas. All the action happens at the police stations,
level.
at the grassroots level. That's why we are supervisory. We supervise these critical, component at the ground level. So that's the structure of the party. So when I say structural elections, these are the elections.
Very well explained. I understand. Let me go for my last commercial break. When we come back, I'll ask Salam his opinion on the NDC's administration thus far. Stay with us.
Ghana's Day of Shame is here again, and the Socialist Movement of Ghana will be marking it with a public forum on Tuesday, February 24th, 2026. The theme for the forum will be 60 years after Ghana's Day of Shame, Imperialism on the Rampage. The event will be chaired by Professor Ekuabrichim, a lecturer at the University of Cape Coast and a member of the Advisory Council of the SMG. The speakers are Comrade Yoruba bin Wahab, a leader of the Black Panther Party of the United States of America, and Comrade Kwesi Pratt Jr., General Secretary of the SMG. It will take place at the headquarters of the Socialist Movement of Ghana on the George Walker Bush Highway, next door to the Noga Hill Hotel in Accra at 4:30 p.m. All comrades and the general public are cordially invited.
One year after the MPP lost the election, NDC took over. How do you see His Excellency John Dramani Mohammed's second term?
I have had cause to issue a statement, the National Youth Wing that I signed, assessing his 1 year in office. And in the release, I said on a scale of 1 to 10, we graded 4. And the 4 is that we grant him performance in stabilization of the city. We grant him performance in drop of fuel prices. However, where they falter and have performed abysmally is in the area of the promises that they have made to the Ghanaian people, especially the youth, which is my area of interest. And I am not the one saying it. There are metrics to judging them. And the metrics are the promises that they have made. So a broad one is something like oral. Oral is a fiasco. It's failed. Now it's a tea drinking, workshop. So on that basis, and mind you, oral was cardinal in their campaign. Cardinal. They demonized the entire Nana Addo government. That were so bad, were so corrupt, were thieves, were criminals, crooks. And that they will jail people and so on and so forth. But as at yet, not even Fly has been jailed.
There's plea bargaining going on, perhaps that is why.
No, they shouldn't take any plea bargaining, they should jail. They should jail. We are there and they should do it. You understand? Because we should not lose trust of the Ghanaian people. And I've said that we should not encourage the politics of mendacity. The very day the people will lose trust in the political system, then it is kaput. One day the people will rise up against it. That is why if you think the MPP people have done wrong, go after them and jail them. Galamsey, another fiasco, failed. Galamsey is today much worse than it was, than the time they were hanging it around the neck of the NPP and strangulating us.
There's NIMOS, there's Blue Water Guard. What are you talking about?
We did operation cow feet, cow leg, cow head, everything we did. Oh, I'm lying.
Cow dunk.
Cow dunk. Everything we did. The burning of excavators and blah, blah, blah. Going after them in forest and everything that the NIMOS is doing, we did. Then you come to youth-specific areas. That really is my place of interest. Because I keep saying, I'm not just a youth organizer. I'm a youth activist. I like things that promote the well-being of young people. Because I do not have the permanent residence of any country. It's Ghana that I like. I like to live here. So I can't run to any other country than to live here. So this country must work for me, my colleagues and everybody. So it must work. The youth of this country were promised 1 million coders program by the NDC, which translates into 250,000, every year for the 4 years. Last year, they did not train 250,000 people. It didn't happen. This year, there's nothing in the budget to train 250,000 young people in the coders program. That is a failure.
Okay.
Then the biggest scam of all, 24-hour economy with 133 formula jobs. Look, I have said this time without number. Even when we're in power, every meeting we attended, I said it, going around this country, the nooks and crannies, meeting young, well, able-bodied, strong men and women ready to work, yet no opportunities was the biggest issue on the minds of young people. Of course, the NDC exploited it, and any research would come back with the same result, that the issues of jobs is still the biggest item on the on the minds of young people. The NDC exploited it and crafted a very lofty promise of 24-hour economy. And the youth bought into it. That yes, when the NDC comes, everybody will get jobs. That and that all state institutions, agencies will run, 3 shifts, 8-hour shift with the same pay. And they say, would you 5,000? Gapoha, Uko anapa, na me ma bewia, na me ma Jimmy 5,000. Na abana so aba enyumre, also aba Jimmy 5,000. Now you feel, yeah, and this yo, Mahama is the hope. And the where is the hope? In the Moka hope now, won't it peno? Won't it hold? You only hear the hope, the hope has vanished. That is the scam that has been pulled on the young people in this country. And I feel scandalized. I feel terrible that we can do that to young people. Go and pick the budget for 2026. There's nothing substantial to implement 24-hour economy. Gusitano told us that they need about $4 billion to effectively implement the 24-hour economy that they envisioned. And they give him 110 million cedis in the budget. I don't know whether I should go and drive go-kart with it or you should go and do what. You see, we should be mindful. And I have said time without number. Even if it's an MPP government, I'll still say the same thing. In 2011, there was Arab Spring. One young person pours petrol on himself and sets fire. And it toppled regimes. Recently in Iran, we saw a spark. We saw Sri Lanka. These things happen when governments don't pay attention to a critical mass like the youth. And that when you begin to use them for political jingoism, this jingoistic, things that politicians do, you win power. But one day, you lose it in the most flagrant manner that young people themselves will come after you. And that's why I think that if the government, if they are listening, they should be careful that they do not, weaponize deceit into political strategy. If we do that, I'm telling you, this Fourth Republic we are in, it will collapse in no time. And that's why it is terrible that, it is also a failure. And we have to mention it. And look, if you take their manifesto and you are going to go, promise by promise, you will see how they are faltering and faltering and faltering. And today, the only achievement they have is that this government, why is it that school feeding is still a problem? Tell you the dollar has gone down. Why can't you pay cocoa farmers? Dollar has gone down. Why is national health insurance not working? Dollar has gone down. Anything you say, dollar has gone down.
Is national health insurance not working?
Initially, some months ago, they ran into serious crisis because of this limbs and so on and so forth issues. Anything you say in this country today, they tell you the dollar has gone down. But that is not panacea to our problems.
What is?
Implement your promises to the people, because that's the social contract you signed.
Are you saying Oral has failed simply because we have not seen the prosecution and the incarceration of people who are alleged to have committed some offenses?
But that was the promise.
Yeah, but
they will
it
takes
takes time.
$21 billion.
Yeah. It takes time. It takes time. Prosecution takes time.
$21 billion. I don't know. Ghana economy, as now, how much is our economy? Now, we see you are going to recover. We are to the tune of $21 billion, and you're going to recover it. You see, you get the people hyper, give them so much hope, and then drop them.
I mean, if you're looking at polling parity with the previous NPP administration, where some promises were also made, about one district, one factory, one village, one dam. You never saw the fulfillment of these promises. And so, I mean, is it not hypocritical on your part to now be making some of these
pronouncements? That is why they voted against us. Because we couldn't do them. So the NDC promised a reset, fundamental. That the bad things we saw with the NPP, we're coming to clean it up. And we're coming to take Ghana on the path of truth, of reset. We are going to do things right. And we said, okay, that is fine. So where is the reset? The reset cannot be a reverse or an upgrade of a pro max of the worst situation that you pontificated. That is where the dishonesty is actually.
Yeah.
You said we didn't do well. We said, okay. The Ghana people said, yes. NPP, we are going to vote against you. Go home and sit down. And I take consolation in the data. I follow data a lot because this is politics, winning, numbers. So if you are playing on the peripheries, you are wasting your time. Today's politics is more data-driven, science and data, and you must look at it well. So when Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia asked me to lead the youth campaign, I decided to draw a whole strategy for the youth campaign. One, who are the youth? Where are they? What is it that is on their mind? What do they want? All of these things. Where do you find them? What do you say to them? All of these things we did, and we presented it to him. So a lot of things must be done right. Must be done right. And I shudder to think that if we continue on the path that we are running, we would get results. I don't want the government to fail, and I'm not praying they fail, because if they fail, I'm also part of it. You see, krom for bonia or see krom beguno or not so or to krom be. So if I pray that the country runs down, I'm also living in it. So the prayer is not for them to fail, not to do well, but their own actions and doings is what is causing a lot of the strife, the stalemaents we are seeing. And it's just a matter of time that if they don't take time, things will begin to blow out of proportion with some of the things that they are doing. So we don't wish the government ill. We wish them well, but they themselves must sit up and be truthful to themselves. Look, let me add you another one. This is a government that comes and revokes the appointment of close to 20,000 young people, Ghanaians, bona fide.
In which institutions?
All the institutions.
Really?
Yes. They gave, the chief of staff issued a fiat that all appointments done after December 7th should be terminated.
But I think it was part of the handing over notes, not so. So why did you breach it?
Some of them, even 2020 people, have been affected. People were employed.
So you are saying that it is not after, it wasn't after 7th of December.
There are people who received their letters of appointment post 7th December. So they said those people were going to be affected. But they ended up going all the way backward to 2020, even 2019. I have a youth organizer whose appointment was terminated with the flimsiest of excuse. So young mass of them have suffered mass revocation for no reason than political. And no government that means well will take such a mass action. So when I say that they have failed, and especially to young people, to the youth, there's just too many things to put together on the government that doesn't put them in good light. And I keep saying that the youth being the biggest section of our demography, if they keep joking with it, we are going to have a very huge problem on our hands one of these days.
Let's be very sincere. Compare Nana Danko Akufo-Addo's administration and that of Mahama. How would you have scored Akufo-Addo? Or how did you score Akufo-Addo at the time? Being completely honest. And admitting that because of some of the things that you are unable to do, that is why you lost the election in such magnitude. How would you have scored Akufo-Addo? 2%?
No, not at all.
1%?
No.
Half?
Let me
You ponder.
Yeah. Before I come to even percentages, in all sincerity and honesty, I think Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government, maybe today, his accolades will not come, but posterity will really perform.
In which sectors?
When you look at the road, sector, some of the legacy road projects the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo took on. Look, this Accra, this Nsawam to the Ofanko, to Ofanko to Nsawam dualization stretch. Almost every government has spoken about it. No government tried to do it. It took Akufo-Addo's government to start that dualization. This motorway, we are seeing the reconstruction. Akufo-Addo started the phase 2. The phase 1 was done by the NDC. The phase 2 coming all the way to the shopping mall. It is the work of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. East Legon, look at the interchange, all the way into the East Airport, area there. So in terms of road construction, the longest road Akufo-Addo's government did, I think, lies somewhere in the northern region, from my own home constituency of Tamale South, all the way to, I think, Tatale, running through 6 constituencies. It's about 170 kilometers. It goes through Tamale South, Myang, Yendi, Tatale, I think, Gushegu, then to Tatale. One of the longest roads done in this country is in the northern region, 170 kilometers. So, then free SHS, audacious, right from September 2017. No excuses, no ifs and buts. We didn't say that when we came there was no money and so on and so forth, so we cannot do it, we are going to wait, blah, blah. Akufo-Addo said, hey, we made a promise to the Ghanaian people, let's get it done, and it was done. So, as audacious as it was implemented. But of course, I do not run away from the challenges the government ran into, especially post-COVID recovery,
But some of them were self-inflicted.
Like COVID?
For instance, no, not necessarily COVID. You were talking about the challenges that the then administration faced post-COVID. Now I'm saying that some of them were self-inflicted. I mean, if you look at, for instance, this PDS scandal was self-inflicted. Kelny GVG was self-inflicted. Bus contamination was self-inflicted. A lot of them were self-inflicted. You get the point. So, and also your inability to complete the Agenda 111 projects it was self-inflicted, because you had given a timeline and you said you're going to complete that project within that timeline, stipulated timeline. You were not able to do that. You didn't come back to the Ghanaian people to even apologize for not being able to complete the project on that set. The
government is a continuum. So
agreeably so.
So I'm
saying that based on that, because
the government to continue. When we came into office, the Mahama administration left e-blocks for us. We didn't complain. We didn't whine. We went into work to ensure that they are completed, because it is Ghanaian children who are going to use them.
The reason why I'm asking this question is because of your earlier comment about the fact that when you ask them about the big push or the 24-hour economy or the galamsey issue, they say the dollar has come down. Now you are also advancing arguments to the fact that you implemented free SHS, because at the time the whole conversation was around free SHS, that we've been able to implement free SHS. Everything you asked, free SHS. And at some point you'll admit that in 2022 inflation was around 54%, and we've agreed here on the table that
inflation went all the way to about 54%.
When it's 54%, it means that prices of goods and services will increase at that percentage.
And we all felt it in this
absolutely country. At one point you increase the price of fuel about 3 or 4 times within a month.
You also agree with me.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think I still have the IMF report that world inflation had gone up by 3%. You are an astute journalist. you know the story of Spain.
Yeah.
That at the point, you know, they were looting in Spain for common groceries.
I remember, yeah.
In fact, I saw power rationing in UK. I'd gone to UK for, I think, a program like that. And they were rationing power. Hey, that's weird themselves. And there were queues to buy fuel in London. I saw it myself. Even here in Ghana, there was no period that people queued to buy fuel. In America, you saw how inflation also ran. Yeah, so we went through a peculiar situation. I won't say that the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo didn't make mistakes. We are human beings. We are not saints and angels. Like you mentioned, the PDS and so on. Those came to dent the image of the government.
Yeah.
And of course, cumulatively, they took us down. But if I'm going to weigh the performance of Akufo-Addo's government vis-a-vis its downside, I think Akufo-Addo performed much better than a lot of the scandals that rocked it. And it is for up to this current government. If they find anything wrong with the PDS, the Boston matter, and blah, 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 look, I keep saying...
You dare them. You are double daring them.
Go out and investigate and bring people to book.
Okay. Now, you have a new flag bearer.
Yeah.
First of all, what would you like to tell him?
He should remain being who he is. He shouldn't change. He's a good person. He's kind to a fault. He's generous to a fault. He's compassionate to a fault. He's humble to a fault. And he's a problem solver. He's a deep thinker. Put a problem before him, he'll find a solution for you. And these things are what will help him to build a better Ghana for all of us. A Ghana that all of us will be proud, one working for everybody, the youth, for women, and so on and so forth. We have so many challenges, and I believe in him. And if you had time to go through our manifesto, recently I was talking with a friend, he told me that your manifesto was very academic, you know, but the NDC manifesto was practical. And the difference between being practical and academic is how you win elections. And I said, well, we wanted to demonstrate to the Ghanaian people that we understand the problems and we can solve them. But putting lofty promises on a piece of paper and saying to the Ghanaian people to win elections, you may win the elections, but you may not perform to the satisfaction of the people. And within time, they will start, kicking you out. And that's exactly what is going to happen to this government. And I tell my party people and my flag bearer that we do not need the NDC to fail before we beat them in 2028. We do not need them to fail. What we need to do is to rebuild a strong party, rebrand it into a formidable force, come up with stronger and better ideas that are practical to the Ghanaian problems, that's superior to what the NDC is doing. And the Ghanaian people would trust us once more. If we're able to do this, we'll beat the NDC. And I go back to my solace in the data of the last elections, that the 2.1 million people who did not vote in 2024, who voted for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in 2020, sent a clear message that the MPP is our party of choice. And that if we wanted, we would have gone out to vote for the NDC. But no, we wanted to punish you. And that in the whole of the 8 years John Dramani Mahama sat in opposition, he could not make 200,000 new votes. So it was not just about John Dramani Mahama winning, it was about the MPP losing. And that is why we must all reflect to rebrand a party that the Ghanaian people want, that this is truly the MPP we want. How to get the youth back, how to get the middle class back, how to win the confidence of the business community, and everybody who hitherto believed in the philosophy and capacity of the NPP and feels, let down. It is up to us to put an NPP that meets the aspirations and the feelings of these people. And I can bet everybody, 2029, we are back into government.
Salam, thank you very much for your time this
My
evening.
pleasure.
All right, so this has been the evening show. My name is Kwame Usudan. So we have been talking to Salam Mustafa, who is the National Youth Organizer of the MPP, gunning for the National Organizer of the MPP in the subsequent elections. I thank you very much for spending your evening with me. I'll see you next week. Have a very wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.